Students of 8th class, let's continue with the 6th chapter of history, that is impact of British rule on India. We have already seen the policy of the Britishers when they had occupied the whole of India. Especially, the foremost thing was to collect revenue, where India had 80% of the cultivation. The revenue was coming from 80% from the cultivation. So they knew that from Indian resources, to buy Indian resources, we need to have a Indian currency, and that only could be extracted from the revenue. Therefore, they could buy raw material. So they introduced these settlements only for their own selfish motive. Further, they destroyed the trade and industry of India. So this we are not going to study, but in nutshell, just we'll see drain of wealth. What's the meaning drain of wealth? So drain means what? Drainage system, drainage system. The whole dirty water or the water is being carried from the city to outside, or the water carried from one place to another is known as a drainage system. Now here, what is here? Drain of wealth. The wealth is being carried from India to Europe or England, either through raw material or through cash by collecting revenue, therefore exploiting the resources of India and the economy of India. It was the transfer of resources and wealth from India to England for which India did not get appropriate economic or material return. That means the whole business, whole trade took place only for the interest of the Britishers. India did not get any material return. Therefore, Indian economy got ruined, destroyed. So, Dadabhai Naoroji, in his book Poverty and British Rule, he criticizes that the wealth is being carried away from India to England. The British consequently spent a large part of the taxes and income they derived from the Indian people, not in India but in Britain, their home country. The drain of wealth from Bengal began 1757 when the company's servants began to carry home immense fortune extorted from Indian rulers. That means millions pounds were carried from India to England personally. And further, date wise, the excess has been made by the Indian historians, that the wealth has been carried from India to England, either through raw material or through buying uh, from the revenue, buying raw material, carrying for their industries, and therefore exploiting the resources of India. So that is all about drain of wealth. So it constituted nearly 6% of the Indians' national income and one third of its national savings, either through salaries, because the British officers, British army men, they all were paid through the Indian currency from the revenue of Indian collected from India. So John Sullivan, president of Board of Revenue, Madras, remarked, "Our system acts very much like a sponge, drawing up all the good things from the banks of the Ganges." That means squeezing everything from the land. Then we'll see the development of transport and communication. The British government paid attention to improve the means of transport and communication. They built a network of railway in India, telegraph lines, roads were built. All this was done. It's written there. All this was done to promote British commercial needs. It was done to speed up transportation of raw material to ports and port towns to bring the finished or manufactured goods from ports quickly to markets all over India. That means the transport system was introduced to carry army from one place to another, to carry goods, raw material from one place to another, and then these all were connected with the ports. So whatever goods, completed goods come from England will be carried from the ports to the various places in the states of India. So the new road, railways, ports and telegraphs were also meant to speed up movement of military supplies and goods. So first railway was introduced, opened between Bombay and Thane in 1853 under Dalhousie. So all major raw materials producing area were gradually linked with major ports to make transportation of raw material easier. So, though the railways were built up to benefit the British, it benefited the Indians also. Travels, transportation became quicker, safer, and cheaper. And all class of people, caste, could travel in one train. So there was no differences. And also people could meet from north to south, east to west. People could meet and discuss the various problems faced by Indians collectively. So it became a blessing for India. We shall, in the next part, we shall discuss education under the company. Okay, how Indian, again, education became a blessing for India, which they introduced only for their own selfish means. So we'll discuss in the next part.